guys, welcome back to Just Chartice. So I'm changing the speed up. Today I am coming with content that I promised from the beginning in my introduction video when I first started this channel, and I promised some transparency. So here it is. Today is actually my 1-year anniversary of walking out in crazy faith, right? Around this time last year, I was literally relying on God for something only God could do. And y'all, when I tell you God came through, man, he came through. And this story literally blows my mind. God showed me it's only crazy until it happens. So this was requested by actually one of my friends on Instagram. And I was like, oh, what video should I do? Or not what video, but what video should what kind of content should I post? What kind of content do y'all want to see from me? And one of my friends replied a testimony. I said, which testimony? And the reply was this one. As time goes on, I'll share my other testimonies too. But this one I think is befitting because, like I said, it's year anniversary. So let's go. Let's get into this video. I was struggling to stay in school. I had, the backstory it's kind of confusing, y'all. So this is the backstory. Let me break it down. Graduated with my bachelor's in April of 2019. I got into my master's program on a conditional basis, and the condition was that I complete one prerequisite that I didn't take because I am getting my master's in something completely different from my undergrad. I take this class during the summer, and because I only took one class, I never got financial aid for that, but no one told me this. Moving into my first year, that year was covered. My first year in my master's program, that year was covered. But the bill that kept on popping up saying that I owed, man, I can't even remember the number. I think it was like $6,000 or something like that. Man, it was just insane. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay this. So I started reaching out to like financial aid to see if they could assist me with it, because I started realizing that the next semester is coming. I need to do something about this. And I didn't know what to do. I knew that God was gonna come through for me, but I was expecting it to happen like that. It was even crazy faith that I even had my position as a graduate assistant that allowed me to go to school for free. There was a season during that summer when I took that class, God told me not to work. And I was like, I'm very independent. And I'm like, God, what are you talking about? I can't be still, like, you know that. And he was like, sit still, rest in me, trust in me, know that I am God. And honestly, I wasn't really trying to hear that. So I really didn't take advantage of the season like I should have. And so literally half of the season, I was just in this kind of back and forth with God, like, what are you doing? And ultimately, like, I submitted in the end, realizing that God had me. He really had me. Like, he kept me. Like, I didn't have a job, and not one of my bills went unpaid. Like, I still had food to eat. Like, man, I love God. And it was crazy because there were people in the church too who were telling me like, well, faith without works is dead, and did God really tell you that, and blah, blah, blah. They had me over here doubting my own faith. It's like, like, I'm just like, God, what is going on? Is this really you? And so in the end, like, that actually established the foundation of the next season. Little did I know I would even be going through. And so ultimately, me waiting and me being patient and having the heart posture of waiting on God, not this, oh my gosh, God, when are you coming? When are you going to do this? There was a heart change halfway through my season. And so ultimately, like, God ended up placing me exactly where I needed to be. And like, I am so blessed. Like, I see even now where he's positioned me, and just it's all God. I can't even explain it all because I would be talking to y'all forever trying to explain how it's God. Just know it's God. That season, I feel like where I wasn't working, I was having faith in him, trusting in him. That was my stepping stone to this next season. And honestly, my faith has never been tested at the extent that it was tested. During that waiting season, I was taking my class for the summer. The class for the summer ended up leaving debt on my balance. No one told me. By the time I found out, it was like November. And then there was like a couple weeks where I didn't really say anything to anybody. I didn't tell anybody. And it was because I thought that I was having faith in God and that he was going to provide. And then when it started getting to the nitty gritty and I started realizing I had to register for classes, I'm like, God, what is going on? And I remember talking to my friends and I'm like, I feel like I'm moving in crazy faith and I just don't understand like what's going on. And it's like, God can require different things from you from different seasons. So I'm like, what does he want from me in this season? Because in the last season, I waited on God and I did the exact same thing. And this season, I'm doing the exact same thing and it's not working. What's going on? And I feel like in this season, God wanted to show me that it was going to require something different from me. And it was going to require me to be vulnerable. I'm not the type of person to go around and ask people for money. I'm not that type of person. I really haven't, most of my life, I really haven't had to depend on many people. So for the most part, I'm very independent and honestly, I really don't ask for much. And it just comes from, I guess, ultimately a place of not wanting to be let down, not wanting it to seem like, I'm after your money, because I'm not. But being vulnerable in that way, I was not used to that. I've never been that type of person. So I felt like God was showing me in that season, like, it's okay to be like that sometimes. And so I remember getting a call from one of the saints at the church, and she was basically the one who inspired me to start the GoFundMe account. And we were just talking about, I can't remember the whole conversation in detail, but we were just talking about how sometimes you have to move. It's okay for you to move. And that's when it kind of opened my eyes and I really felt dumb. I'm like, dang, I should have been asked, like, why am I just now waiting? And so pretty much after that, it was full throttle. And I was like, okay, so, all right, God, if you do it this way, okay. And I feel like I basically, at the beginning, I just had this expectation that God was just going to wipe my account blank. Clearly, God doesn't do the things the way that we imagine. He always has a different way of blowing our minds. And truly, the way that he did it for me, it blows my mind every time. Like, blows my mind. For me, the first thing that I learned first about having crazy faith, is that you have to take the first step. You cannot just sit back and wait and just have faith but not really act on it. How do you know that it's in alignment with God? For me, I didn't even know. I was just stepping. And what I've come to realize is that God always honors your first step, and he sees it as a step of faith, that you're believing in what he's going to do. And it wasn't me trying to make stuff happen. It was me initiating my first step of faith. And I think that's important. You have to initiate your first step of faith. I wrote down my vision, made it plain, and I listed out everything that I was believing God to do. And I actually still have that list to this day. So on January 4th, I said, last night I had a dream that I was able to register for classes. With just 2 days left to start the semester, I'm choosing to stay in position even under pressure. God can meet my deadline. My church family here helped me out. My family helped me out. My friends helped me out. My church family back home and my church back home, ultimately, everyone combined, like God just positioned everyone in a place to be able to help me and bless me. And man, I'm so thankful. Like, I was telling people, like, hey, I've already reached my goal, and like there were some people who were still blessing me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too much, this is too much, this is too much. And it was really just an overflow of stuff. And man, after that, I was on a high. Like, speak on my God wrong if you want to, but he real, and he ain't coming to play no games. Like, he would literally take care of his children. I just remember breaking down in disbelief, like, wow, like, man. Yeah, even now, just thinking about it. So, like, that's why I kind of appreciate, celebrating this, 1 year anniversary of me celebrating how God was able to show me how to walk out in faith in real life in a situation where I was really pressured. And it's just so beautiful to look back and to remember, because I feel like it's so easy for us to forget what God has done for us. But hopefully this gave you some encouragement. If you're in a season right now where you're not really sure how ends are going to meet, or, things just aren't as secure as you would like them to be, just know that God will literally provide for you. All you have to do is ask.